everyone, welcome back to my channel and to another What I Eat in a Day video. Thank you for joining me today for a fantastic day of food. So this morning was the first school run that I have done in about 2 to 3 weeks due to the fact that Layla was isolating, and it felt really nice just to get out in the fresh air. We're in pending lockdown 2. By the time this goes live, I think we will be in lockdown number 2 here in the UK, which is frustrating, but it just means that I'm going to be home much more, cooking up and baking up loads of delicious things for you to try. And I hope that for those of you that are off work at the moment, you can find solace in your kitchen, you can find a bit more time to enjoy some really delicious family food, or even just if you're just on your own, get a treasure trove squirreled away in the freezer for when things get a little bit busier, perhaps later in the year. So as you know, we're in November and Halloween has been and gone, which means a lot of people have loads of things like this lying around their kitchen. Pumpkins that they perhaps haven't carved yet, cooking pumpkins that they intended to make soup out of, didn't quite get around to it, and things like a butternut squash. So I've grabbed out one of my favourite books, which I actually got for my birthday. It's one by Nigel Slater, my favourite chef of all time. And I found a recipe, I discovered a recipe on page 400 and something. Here it is. And it is the butternut squash and red onion gratin, which can be made from either pumpkin that you have lying around, squash, anything. And I just love the look at this. I mean, look at the beautiful autumnal colours. I'm hoping that this will translate on camera, but this looks so delicious. In fact, I even emailed this page, or I WhatsApped it, to a few of my family members and a few of my friends, because I knew that a lot of people like me would have a ton of these things lying around in the kitchen. And what better way to make use of it than a recipe like this? So that is what we're going to be having for lunch. And another thing we're having for dinner tonight, which is also quite exciting, is pork chops. Now, I never ever have pork chops, guys. Like, I used to love them, haven't cooked with them, God, I would say in about 6 or 7 years. That's how long it's been since I've had a pork chop. And I thought, it's a gorgeous autumn day, it's going to be crisp and cool tonight. I'm going to make some beautifully tender, nice and crispy pork chops with a plum chutney, with shallots and carrots. It is going to be a delicious autumn winter warmer, and I'm going to make it with creamy garlic mash. So I hope you're all going to enjoy that. Such a fantastic day of food coming your way. I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, we're going to get on with lunch because I've had breakfast. As you've seen, I had toast and a cup of tea. Nothing too exciting. In fact, I don't know if I've mentioned that, so I'll insert that now. So for breakfast, because I wanted something a bit more substantial than yogurt and fruit, I'm going to have some toast. I've kind of been looking in the supermarkets to find the best seeded loaf when it comes to WW points. So far, the best one I found is actually the Tesco's one, but I picked this one up from Aldi, which is meant to be a similar thing. Oh, and this is the same. This is the same value as the Tesco one when it comes to points, but the slices are a little bit bigger. This is brilliant, so I'm glad I checked this. So basically, 2 slices is 5 points. That is definitely the best I found when it comes to pointing bread. The day in a nice low point breakfast, especially for 2 pieces of toast. You know, I only spent about 7 points, which is great. So now let's make lunch. I think this is going to take about 40 minutes to prepare, so I don't anticipate it being the quickest, but I feel like a lot more people may have a little bit more time on their hands now to dedicate. And here's a recipe in case any of you want to quickly screen grab it. I'm going to weigh out 200 grams, which is the same as 200 ml if you're doing it in a jug, of creme fraiche. Again, this is lighter, and this is also perfect for if you're making a cheese and onion pie. This is what I actually use with my cheese and onion pie recipe. And I'm going to keep this nice and airtight with my beeswax wraps, which actually need refreshing. I have some beeswax on its way to me, and I'm going to give them all a refresh. And I have a cast iron saucepan on the heat, so I'm going to add my onion first, and then we'll add the creme fraiche with some seasoning. Again, I'm doing this like you guys, so I'm literally reading from the book as I go, and I'm sure I'll have to make teeny adjustments based on what I have in and things like that. But I think that's the great thing about cooking. It allows you to experiment and try things that you perhaps wouldn't have tried before. Where is the food? Are you?
I'll never forget the look on my father's face as he gathered me up in his arms and raced to the burning building out of the place. There is
change this recipe up slightly because I would like a little bit of aubergine, so I'm just going to cut some discs for layering. Feel free to use courgette, you know, use whatever you have in. This is a fantastic opportunity to have no waste, basically. So whatever you have lying in your fridge, whether it's shallots, whether it's courgette, mushroom. I have a garlic infused olive oil here, but feel free to use regular garlic oil, sorry. If you only have butter, feel free to use a little bit of that. But again, it's just to add a bit more flavour, and this will save me actually having to peel garlic, which is fantastic. It's such a cheap way of getting that flavour. Again, I'm not being too precious about oil. Feel free to use the quantity that you would like.
Don't run under a tree. If pennies from heaven for you and me. It's upside down we live up. How about who the whole world? You'll find your fortune falling all over town. I've got you under my skin. For the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice.
Weather has totally switched and I've had to go and get a change, but it would not be a grafting without some form of breadcrumbs. So I have this tiger loaf here, which is actually, if I'm completely honest with you, it's gone a bit stale. I think we forgot about it, but it will not go to waste because this is perfect for breadcrumbs, and actually I quite like it crispy. So I've got 2 small pieces there to dip in, and I'm going to make breadcrumbs to sprinkle on the top from 2 pieces as well. Oh god, this smells incredible, and already it's gone beautifully golden. Let me just show you guys before I put breadcrumbs on the top. Look at this, look how beautiful. Now it's final flourish, and I am going to break these up slightly in my hands as well, just so they go further, really.
Now you say I no took the part. I'll never use them.
Lunch was absolutely delicious, and I actually changed up the recipe quite a bit, so it's quite different to the Nigel Slater recipe. So I could actually say that this is one of my own little recipes, to be quite honest, because it turned out really, really well. So I'm going to link exactly what I did in the description box down below, but feel free to use the accomplished Nigel Slater recipe if you would like to. But I actually have to go and pick up Layla in about an hour's time. So what I thought I would do is have my afternoon coffee now, because I haven't actually had a coffee today and I'm feeling like I need it a little bit. So I'm also gonna have a cookie, a Halloween cookie that I made a couple of days ago. Layla and I did some baking, you may have seen it in a vlog, and we actually ended up making more on Halloween because they were that good. Oh my god, I need to get my greys done so badly, but obviously now it's impossible, so I'm just gonna have to go grey gracefully. But yeah, I'm gonna have a coffee and a cookie. I can't tell you guys what the cookies equate to be honest with you, but again, feel free to have whatever snack you would like. I just like to be transparent and honest with what I'm eating. And I'm also gonna have a Nescafe sachet as well, which is 2 points. No, it's not, it's 4 points. Yeah, 4 points for the sachet. Hi guys, so as you can see, different outfit, and that is because it's actually the next day now. Last night I intended to make pork chops with shallots and garlic mash, and something came up and we weren't able to do that, and we ended up having a McDonald's. So what I thought I would do is cook the meal today that I was planning on making yesterday. And then it's kind of the same day. I mean, it's what we would have had last night had this thing not have come up and we needed to rush out and get a convenience meal. So I'm gonna make it today, hope that's okay. That pumpkin gratin was delicious, so delicious in fact that Andrew saw it on my stories and drove back to get some from work and to take some back for a couple of his colleagues as well, and they loved it also. So it was incredible. Please try it. It was delicious. I'll put the recipe in the description box down below. I'll put the original and I'll put what I did as well, just to give you guys that extra convenience. But yeah, now I'm just about to go and head out and get Layla, but I'm going to get back and we're going to have beautiful seasonal pork chops with shallots and I'm going to do like a plum chutney, and also we're going to be having it with garlic mash. It's going to be delicious. I hope you all enjoy it. Out in the school run, I'm going to get on with making the marinade, which starts with some garlic oil. Feel free to use regular olive oil if you desire, but I'm going to use garlic infused because I feel like it will enhance the flavours. I also have a lemon here that I'm going to juice, and I'm also going to take a little bit of the lemon zest off there as well, again just to enhance the flavour, because this can be quite a sweet dish with what I'm adding, so I do want to add a little bit of sharpness to it. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of honey, and I do recommend warming the spoon, it just helps it run off a little bit quicker. I'm going to add a tiny bit of dark soy sauce, half a teaspoon. And I have some plum conserve here that I'm going to add. You can use fresh plums if you want to. A heaped teaspoon will suffice and give a lot of flavour and actually a nice coating. In fact, they're quite big, these chops, so I'm going to add about another half a teaspoon to that. Thyme is honestly one of the best herbs. It can be used in a variety of different dishes. I'm just going to add a light sprinkling of that. I've got to that point where I can pretty much eyeball things. If you're using fresh thyme, you're going to need to add a little bit more. Fennel, of course. Fennel is an ideal spice or herb when it comes to seasoning pork. We have some basil. Again, not too much basil, just a light sprinkling. And then finally, rosemary. I feel like it's a partnership made in heaven when you combine rosemary. To be honest, with most meats, it's particularly good with lamb, but also I find it tastes really good with pork as well. And then we have some fresh chili flakes. I'm not going to add too much, I just like a bit of a kick, and again I think it offsets well against the sweetness of the dish, so just a light sprinkling, but of course you can do that to your taste. And then finally, just to kind of even things out, I'm going to add some all-purpose seasoning, a decent sized clove of garlic. So I have quite a large garlic bulb here, and each clove is about this big, which is quite large, and that'll be more than enough. So I'm going to get that finely grated and mix it all together.
Without a love of my own, you saw me standing alone without a dream in my heart. I say I love my heart and now the mountain. My heart is yours.
Pork is now prepared and it's actually smelling incredible as it is. I've just popped in some banana shallots, and when I get back, I guess I'll preheat the oven, pop that in, and I'll get on with making the garlic mash, which will go so nicely with it. These will all become caramelized and they'll sizzle and be delicious. I actually ended up removing the bone as well, just to give it more room in the tin to expand. You could cook it with the bone, it probably would add a lot of flavour, but there's loads of flavour in this marinade, so I'm not too precious about that. But normally, if I have my meat on the bone, I will cook it that way. But yeah, it looks and smells delicious, so I cannot wait. And I mentioned before that this is going to be a garlic mash, so I'm going to make a garlic infused butter that I'm going to use to mash it in the mash with milk. And to do that, all I'm going to do is get some butter in a pan, heat it up with some garlic and also a few fresh herbs, and that'll be it basically. It's very simple. You could use a mill and actually grind soft garlic in and grind the mill and mash the potatoes that way, but I think that's more of an American thing. In the UK we tend to use mashers. So what I'm going to do is gently cook the garlic low and slow while the chops are in for a good like 20 minutes, let it get really sweet and soft, and then I'll put it in the mash when I'm mashing it with the milk and the butter, and it'll just be delicious.